Good evening to those who listen. It is August 22nd, 2026, 8:59 p.m. And this is so dystopian. Uh, I came up with something after listening just a half of this. So have a listen first, and then I'll let you know what I thought.
Since January of 2023, the City of Ozark has purchased, installed, and operated a total of 12 Flock Falcon ALPRs, automated license plate readers, manufactured by the private security company Flock Safety. On the surface, this doesn't seem all that concerning. Not all that different from the license plate readers used to track toll charges or stoplight infringements. But if you look into Flock Safety, their products, and their practices, you will quickly find that automated license plate reader is a misnomer. In fact, these cameras don't even require a license plate to track a vehicle. As per Flock Safety's website and the contract between Flock Safety and the Ozark Police Department, vehicles can be tracked based on make, model, color, or even by more unique features like bumper stickers or bike racks. When searching through the footage collected by these cameras, users can even input information about the people involved in the footage, such as their hair color or clothes that they're wearing, to narrow down their search, all with the help of Flock's AI search tools. And these cameras are running motion detection 24/7, collecting footage that can be accessed by anyone in the police force at the click of a button, as well as any other agencies nationwide that they choose to share it with. So for the remainder of this talk, I will be referring to these cameras by what they really are, not ALPRs, but AI surveillance cameras. Defenders of Flock will argue that the use of these cameras isn't any more invasive than the traditional security cameras used by businesses. While it's true that camera surveillance is incredibly common in the public sphere, the key difference is in the requirements to access the data collected. When you walk into a grocery store or a bank or any other business around town, you are almost certainly under video surveillance. However, the security camera on which you're recorded is run independently from the one used by the business next door.
Just wanted to say this is from Richie from Boston, RFB2.
The one used by the business next door. These surveillance systems are not centralized. The data collected is distinct and cannot be viewed and analyzed all at once by simply inputting a username and password. If law enforcement were trying to piece together footage to track the movements of an individual over an entire day, they would be required to obtain a warrant to view the security footage captured by each business individually. Using Flock's AI surveillance cameras, individuals and their vehicles can be tracked without a warrant from any device with a valid username and password inputted. Furthermore, if local law enforcement so chooses, the data collected here in Ozark, the footage of our own constituents, most of whom are unaware of our own city's use of Flock cameras, can be made accessible to agencies across the country. By opting into Flock's safety sharing network, data sharing relationships can be formed with agencies in California, Illinois, Georgia, or even the FBI. There have been numerous cases in other communities where, without the consent of the constituents, Flock data has been shared with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, helping ICE to hunt down individuals in a truly dystopian display of pervasive tracking. When data is centralized and accessible without accountability like this, there's no other term for it than mass surveillance. While it has its moments of usefulness, it is well known that AI is imperfect. AI makes mistakes. Sometimes these mistakes are as simple as confusing a 0 with an O or a 1 with an L, but when it comes to Flock cameras, these little mistakes have real consequences. In February, a family was pulled over by police in Arkansas, their car having been flagged as stolen by a Flock camera. With their guns drawn, officers ordered the couple out of their vehicle and handcuffed them while their two young children watched from the back seat. Only then was it revealed that their plate had been misread by a single letter by an AI Flock camera, labeling an innocent family as car thieves. This is not a one-time incident. Errors like this are all too common, and the consequences are not only unjust, but also unsafe. And technology is not the only risk associated with these AI surveillance cameras. There are also countless documented cases of misuse. In Joplin, an officer was fired earlier this year for abusing his access to Flock cameras, searching the same license plate nearly 400 times without a case number he was attaching to the searches. In Brentwood, up by St. Louis, an officer used Flock cameras to track his ex-wife. Flock system users can even tag specific plates, adding them to a hot list, and being notified each time that vehicle or the vehicle associated is captured by a Flock camera, further exacerbating the potential danger of misuse. In the words of Oregon Senator Ron Wyden, Flock has built a dangerous platform in which abuse of surveillance data is almost certain. Now, I'm in no way questioning the morality and responsibility of our own police force here in Ozark, but the idea of anyone having warrantless access to this sort of data is alarming and dangerous. I could keep going on and on about these horror stories, but even beyond these incidents, the nature of Flock safety is one of mass surveillance and of privacy violation. Fundamentally, Flock safety and the use of their AI surveillance cameras is unjust and is an entirely un-American approach to security. This type of warrantless surveillance goes against the nature of our constitutional Fourth Amendment and forces all of us unwilling constituents into a discomforting security measure that we cannot choose to opt out of. You cannot replace the threat of crime with the threat of mass surveillance and violation of rights and call it protection. Instead, I urge you to reconsider our city's approach to security and immediately terminate all contracts with Flock Safety and all use of Flock Safety products. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So there it is. And Richard from Boston saying the same thing. It doesn't matter how many people go up in front of the city councils. They don't care. And it doesn't matter. I think it's too late anyway. Richard from Boston thinks that the Flock cameras were just a distraction for the other cameras that are doing even more surveillance than the Flock cameras. And I think he's right. And here's what I was thinking. So if these Flock cameras are supposedly just for your license plates, then why do they need to record all the features of your car, your dents and your scratches and the tire rack and bumper stickers and all that, right? So here's what I think. I think the Flock cameras were just the first step. The Flock cameras are there just to get your license plates, get your license plate number, and then also it gets all the features. So then it doesn't matter if you don't have a license plate. And some people are taking their license plate off, or they're painting over their license plate to block the numbers and everything. But at that point, it won't matter. If they already have your plate number and it's associated with this red car that has 3 scratches in the right corner, a dent in the bumper, bumper stickers on the back, and come on. So then you could take your license plate off, you could block it all you want, and then people are going to say, well, how did they catch me? I didn't even have a license plate on there. That's because they got your features of your car. So it won't matter. This is getting way more dystopian. This is getting way worse than you could ever imagine. I mean, we're like a little tiny 1% away from being at China's stage. We just don't have the social credit score system yet. But I mean, it doesn't matter. What if somebody is not such a good driver, and let's say they speed just a little bit, and they don't stop completely at a stop sign, or they have a taillight out. So every day they're leaving and they're speeding a little bit. Oops, you didn't stop completely at that stop sign. Oh, you forgot to put your turn signal on. They store all that information, and then blam! After you have like 10 incidents, then suddenly they say, oh, look, you got this and this and this and this, and then suddenly blam! You got so many fines that you won't be able to pay for it. Well, what happens if you can't pay your fines? Think you got another jail cell to think about then. Wow. I don't know if they could actually do that or not, but I can for me, I can see that in my head. They won't, say nothing. They'll let everybody just, rack up offenses and then tack it on and tack it on and tack it on. And then soon you'll get a letter in the mail and it says, oh, sorry, we had to take your license. Your license is suspended for too many points on your license. What? There's a guy, and his registration, his plate was expired. And he was driving through a town, passed by a Flock camera, stopped at the gas station, starting to fill up with gas. 2 minutes later, the cops are there. And he's like, wait a minute, how did you know that I had an expired plate? There was no cops around. Well, we got it on the Flock camera. Wow. So there's another situation where the police don't even have to be doing their job. They could be at the police station. They could be at the donut shop. And then somebody passes by the Flock camera. And then beep, beep, they get a message. They get an alert on their phone. Hey, this guy doesn't have He has an expired license plate. Oh, let's go! Woo! And then blam. Does anybody see the craziness in this? And imagine when the AI is taking over. They won't let nothing go by. All right. Wow. Thanks for watching. We're in the end days, everybody. Get ready. Get ready. Get your life right with God. God bless.